Hello and welcome to another video. So today we're checking out Puppet Portal. Puppet Portal didn't really get too much in the new expansion. It really just got Zwei, which we're running as a one of. It's a solid card, but I don't know whether I'd really want to run more than one or two of it at max anyway. I believe I have two of it, not three of it, but I don't think I'd run it at three anyway, honestly. Otherwise, we're just running Odin as three. Odin's just insanely good in pretty much every deck at this point. It's basically an Olivia equivalent. It's so strong. Being Storm and Banish of a selected card is insanely good. Overall, I've had a lot of fun with the deck. It does puppet things, you know, generates a lot of value, has a lot of good clears. Some of the games end up being a real slugfest, though, where I get dragged out right to the end and have to, you know, absolutely just dig through cards until eventually I find the answer. But otherwise, it's a lot of fun, and hope you guys will enjoy it too. So we'll get right into it and take a look. Alright, kicking off game one here against Runecraft. We end up drawing a pretty garbage hand. Very little puppety action going on in that opener, so we had to mulligan for some better puppet cards, which these are honestly a much better fit for us. We can pretty much just Lovestruck Puppet. We could even just play Puppet Theater if we want to do something early. Gives us a lot of good options. We can even play Udi turn 3, which I quite like, or we can even go for the Medical plus Puppet for a clear. Really does depend on what they end up doing, and they end up not doing anything, so Udi it is. Udi becomes a pretty easy play here. So we can give in a little bit of early damage, develop our board, and kind of just wait for them. This is clearly some kind of spell boost rune. So we really don't want them getting super late into the game. We want to pretty much be killing them with the Orcus play. That would be the ideal. So Ruby, I end up sending Puppet back into the deck. I mean, at that point, why not? Probably could have handled it a little bit better, but if I had sent something else and kept Puppet, I could have potentially played double Puppet and got 2 more damage to face, but I think that's still fine. And that's not really doing anything to us, so another Udi play it is. And we go for Puppet Lancer as well. We're just going to go for big board here and smack as much as we can. Not really having to use our Evos, which is great, as we do have a lot of Evo targets currently. A lot of things that can really benefit from using Evo points. Of course, the Anagram is kind of annoying, dealing with 3 out of 4 cards. Lucky for us, though, we can pretty much just chain the Puppet. Then we can even take advantage of the Medical Puppet, get rid of the other thing, and now we'll spend the Evo on the Ruby and go for the extra damage. Get him as close to Orcus lethal as possible as soon as possible. And if anything does stick here, Olivia becomes a very good play. Unfortunately, though, this plus Evo does full clear us, so not a lot I can do to this board now. But we have a pretty easy answer to this. We can just leave up our 5/5 and generate some extra puppets for the Orcus play next turn. Although we are going to pretty much fill our board with the Orcus play, so they go for double healing plus Stormy Blast. They couldn't have asked for a much better turn, like play points wise. It's kind of disappointing for us because we are just forced into the Orcus play. At least we do get 7 damage off this play pretty handedly, bringing them back down to 11. So they really only healed the 1 off that. But it's sad that we had to do that extra damage. They end up going for the Kun, which is enough. It's just only a little bit annoying. Fortunately, Kun just doesn't really have a great way to remove Orcus typically. You have to commit a lot of resources when you play that. And we're just going to follow it up immediately with a second Orcus, because why not? We're only 1 turn off the Liam play as well, so that's why we are holding onto that extra Evo point we have. This time we can maximize our damage, get as much as possible. Leave him on just 2 health. Unfortunately for us, Divine Thunder is not something we want to see, especially when they can heal. And they can also play that, Lionheart for clear. So they had a pretty good hand again. Fortunately for us though, Liam is more than enough to win us this game. The advantage is we do have to use the puppets, so we do have to think a little bit about this play. So Liam, we get to play him out. We ram the 1 cost puppet, then we can ram 2 3 cost puppets. And thanks to the last words off the Evo of Liam, they are going to give us exactly 6 damage. Very clean lethal. Continuing on, we have PortalCraft again.
I'll bind them together.
Not too bad options in some of these early cards. Puppets, medical, some good options. Not a lot we want to play turn 1 though, since none of these would actually generate me the value needed to clear. And now we're pretty much forced into the extra point, unfortunately, since I do need to deal with their own puppets, since this is a puppet on puppet matchup, it seems. They're running a little bit of a different variant though. We're on a little bit more of the aggressive clear side, I think, compared to them, which I think is actually going to work in our favor here, since Puppet Lancer is going to let us clean up this Grimnir pretty nicely. And they end up going for Medical Assassin, so honestly, really nice. We're pretty much going to mirror them here, go for our own Medical Assassin.
It will be over soon.
So get to clear, we get to keep our Medical Assassin, and we get to see what they do next turn. They end up going for the nice little Udi play, along with their own little puppet plays. Interesting. We're looking at a pretty easy Zwei play here. It's one of the few times I actually have used Zwei. Just hasn't come up that often in the few games I've played with this deck so far. Especially as a 1-of, of course. But I don't think you'd want it, again, as more than a 2-of at max, it feels like. I don't know. Zwei's fine. I like Zwei. I just don't think the impact it provides for turn 5 is to a degree where I want to run 3. Like, every time. Like 1 or 2 is like the comfy spot for Zwei. So we can pretty easily go Puppet Theaters here. Go for some clear. We can set up, clear the medical grade. We can start generating our own puppets for the Orcus play as well. And we'll just use Ruby to send a card back. And honestly, drawing Odin there's a pretty nice play. So it looks like we're going to see them drop Noah. A little bit of an annoyance. A little bit of a pain to deal with. Fortunately for us though, this Odin here should do a pretty good job of cleaning this up and getting us damage. We can even just use a normal Evo point, so we don't have to get that extra 1 damage. And we don't have to waste our Super Evos when we're looking at playing Orcus plays next turn. Sylvia's a little bit annoying though, the extra heal. Honestly, it's just a pain in the ass. At least this looks like a pretty nice board to clear with the Orcus, along with get our damage in. So we're going to get maximum damage off this Orcus that we can with what we have in hand. Along with the fact that we're going to fully clear this board. And potentially force them into having to use their own, probably Orcus or Super Evo to clear this. We are really hoping we can draw a second Orcus ourselves though, as from this play on, we don't really have a lot going for us. So they have the pretty Orcus, of course. Crazy. Like I said, not surprised we get to see how their Orcus come down though. It's a very easy way to clean this board up. They don't even have to think about it, and they can do a lot more damage than we can thanks to their Noah and their enhanced. So we really don't have a lot riding on this. Fortunately, our top decks are legendary, and we hit the Orcus we need. If we didn't hit that, we would have been in some real trouble. So I need to come up with a good way to go for lethal here. And fortunately, more than enough for lethal. Alright, and last but not least, we have some Havencraft. Havencraft really does give you a bit of a run with this deck, as you're going to see. We both kind of burned through a lot of our early resources, which is going to be kind of brutal, but hey, it should create for a pretty interesting video where we're both playing to our outs. So, Lovestruck Puppeteer, we generate a puppet. Good early play, always solid. They're not really doing too much other than developing their amulets. So Udi gets to come down pretty much for free here with no real contests going on. Grimnir is a little annoying, but not the end of the world. We can actually clear this really easy with Puppet Lancer while getting maximum damage. And now they have a board they kind of have to answer is something. So they end up doing Angelic Maid Evo. Pretty decent way to answer this, especially with Divine Guard. Unfortunately, we lose this the 1 in 4. Well, the 3 in 4, technically. Like, if they had hit the puppet, that would have been godly. because we would have got to keep another body. I decided to go for the Udi Evo here. Mostly so I can get her crest, as it is a countdown 3 crest, and we're only going to have to trade the Lovestruck Puppet and end up in overdraw anyway, so wasn't really worth using much else there, it felt like. Having to do with this Wilbert though is kind of annoying. If we were going second, this would have been a much better situation because we could have potentially have Odin'd that away.
It will be over soon. Scalpel.
But now we just kind of have to come up with a way to deal with it. We want to make sure we can clear as much of this as possible so we don't leave up too much for them to do anything with.
Treatment is incomplete.
Which is going to cost us a few cards. But with Ruby and Puppet, like, there are options. We end up just redrawing the Puppet, which is awful. Thankfully, Udi does draw us a card. That's why we set her up the turn before. And their Bellringer is now going to become a pretty nice Odin target, since we do have 2 Odins. And it unfortunately doesn't let us get more damage to face, but hey. At least we clear both of these and they only get 1 draw. I don't mind that too much at all, especially when we're going into Orcus in the next turn, potentially. Depends on what we end up with. Plus, the nice bonus here is they've used all of their Evo points now. So, from here on out, it's really just a game of value. Who can get the most value out of the cards they have? Unfortunately, Orcus is basically the perfect answer to Ava. As it does let you pretty much full clear without really any penalty. Thanks to the Evos. So I try and get as much value out of this as I can, while trying to take as little damage on my 1-3, 1-6 as possible. I want Lloyd to take as little damage, but it's basically as good as I can do. Fortunately, I just go Chalice, which is pretty much just a free turn for us. Now, looking at this, maybe I should have Odin and got rid of the buff. The Darkhaven there is kind of annoying, but I decided to just try and commit for more damage. And they end up going for a second Ava. This time, though, they can't go for the Evo, which means they can't put Aura on any of them. Unfortunately, they do end up hitting the Divine Guard, though, so that one's a little disappointing. But Sylvia here is going to do the job pretty well. We end up going for the draw effect. Since we're only -1 on health, it's really not a problem. She does let us at least clear up 3 of these cards pretty neatly on her own. And then the Medical plus Puppet will let us clean up the extra, so really no problem at all. And now we're up a card having Sylvia on board. So they just go for the as much clear as they can. Honestly, super bloody annoying to deal with, but hey, here we are. At least Odin is going to do a pretty nice job on his own. Not quite enough to full lethal here, but using Puppet plus all the puppets we have, we do get to clear this Sal Mirage while letting us go full face damage. So we're just looking for 1 damage at this point. Potentially 2 with their healing. Maybe a little bit more if they heal more, but it's really just a game of outs now. Fortunately, they have another Jean, so second Jean play. Super fucking irritating. Because now I have to find a way to deal with this as well. Thankfully, Noah is actually a pretty good play here. Noah and Puppet Lancer give me a couple of nice outs. Although I should have played Puppet Lancer first, so that I wouldn't have had to have committed quite as much, I don't think. Although it may have actually ended up being the same, even with that 1 damage difference, just because it was even numbers. And thankfully we do have another Noah, so we do actually have another way to do some pretty decent damage. And we're just trying to stick anything we can. And they end up with a Griffin. They do have to use the Griffin to trade, though. They can't afford to risk losing to the Noah. And we are just 1 damage away from being able to kill them. So with some more Puppet commits here, we can get the nice clear on this Griffin and go for the 2 damage to face. We try and just chuck a Lionheart to board to get more damage to board. They end up getting their plea though, which does draw them 3 cards, and they hit the 3rd Jean. Absolute pain in my neck. Now I have to answer that as well. Fortunately, our top deck Orcus is what we were looking for. That's the only way we were going to get lethal this turn. A couple other cards could have done the job of at least clearing, but at least Orcus gets us to lethal. Really nicely there. So, Puppet Portal overall performing very nicely, does a really good job, has become a rather expensive deck, as pretty much all decks have at this point, although is still on the lower side compared to some decks. I mean, it's still, what, 11? Yeah, 11 legendaries. These decks are just getting really expensive really fast, but the legendaries in Worlds Beyond are just so powerful. They just are. It's really hard to not consider them powerful. This deck, obviously, you could drop the Zwei and Olivia, lose a little bit of value there, and throw in a couple of other cards, like lower cards and stuff, and probably be okay, but that still leaves you with 9 legendaries you've got to compete with, of which only one is super universal, and the other one is, I guess it's also used in both variants of Portal, but hey. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. You'll find the list in the description below. Be sure to like and follow for more content. Until next time, I'll catch you then.